Greetings, my name is Dwayne. I am the founder of CFRN. This is going to be a very short video, and we're going to talk about something very important. All of us are enduring this coronavirus pandemic, and I pray that your life, your home has not been touched by this virus. I pray that it won't be. Chances are, though, you do know if it hasn't affected you and your household, you probably know someone who has been touched. But those of us who've remained healthy, this pandemic has brought another problem into our life. Millions of people around the world have lost their jobs. Many don't know if that job is going to come back, if it's going to ever be available again. And so people around the world are frightened what their economic future holds. I'm going to talk to you about something over the next 5, maybe 10 minutes that could be the answer for you. Let me say up front, trading is not for everyone. Not everyone is cut out to be a trader. We're going to show you how you can find out if trading could be the answer for you, for your employment situation, for the mortgage payments that are going to come towards the end of the year. Financial institutions, with pressure from the government, have agreed to hold off in many cases on mortgage payments for 3 months, I think 6 months in some cases, but at some point, the bill is going to come due, and many people just don't know what they're going to do. Now, there are a group of people in the world, traders, who have the potential to earn more than even celebrities. The highest paid people on this planet are not celebrities, but are in fact traders. You can see what I have up on the screen. It's very disheartening. I mean, why would I open up this video with such a disheartening statement? Well, because I want you to know that I'm being honest with you. I'm being straightforward. I'm being upfront, transparent. Futures Magazine, which is the industry magazine for those who trade futures. And if you don't know what futures are, don't worry about that right now. You're probably familiar with stocks. Maybe you've even traded a few stocks in your life. You're probably thinking this is something like options, and it's absolutely nothing like options. Quite honestly, options are very complicated. Some people do trade options, and some people do very well. It's just, I'm not smart enough to trade options. It's so complicated with the delta and the alpha, and it's just all Greek to me. But something you probably have heard about is the S&P 500. When you're driving down the road on the way from maybe what used to be the job, on the way home after a hard day's work, the radio announcer says something like, well, the S&P was up 10 points today, the Dow was up 100 points. The S&P 500 is simply an index of 500 large cap companies. Now, these 500 large cap companies are tracked by an index. You can't actually trade the index itself, but what you can trade are the futures contracts and other derivatives that are created to track the price of the S&P 500. And I'm going to show you a chart of the S&P. And this is a 30-minute chart, and that just means that every one of these candles, you get a new candle every 30 minutes. This is how you track price, the current price, the closing price today. And today is the first day of May 2020. It was $2,817. One contract of the S&P 500 Emini futures has a value of, stand by, Alexa, 2817 times 50.
2,817 times 50 is 140,850.
All right. We're talking about something with a value of $140,000. Beautiful thing about futures. You can control one contract of the S&P 500 E-mini futures under normal conditions for $500 during what's called the day session. Trading at night is typically $1,000 per contract. Okay, that's the money that you have to have in your account. Because of the increased volatility that we've had due to the pandemic, most brokers have increased their margins. Some brokers, you might pay $3,000 now to trade an S&P 500 E-mini contract. But what it's doing is it's giving you control over a financial instrument with a value of $140,000. Now, if you were around during the dot-com bubble and the dot-com crash, you heard stories of how people trading on margin lost their homes. A lot of terrible things really did happen. Okay. However, when we teach people how to trade, and that's obviously where this is headed, we're a company who for the past 15 years, that has been our job, teaching people just like you how to trade the E-mini futures markets. Now, when you use aggressive risk management, when you use a physical hard stop loss, even if you're putting up $3,000 to trade one contract of the S&P 500 E-mini, using a hard stop loss, we don't risk, with our methodology, we don't risk more than $300 per contract per trade. It's almost like this is almost like a deposit. If you've ever gone to the grocery store to rent a rug shampooer, maybe it only costs $25 to rent the shampooer, but because they want to make sure that they get it back in good condition, maybe you got to give them $100 or $200 or a credit card. Okay, so think of this as a deposit. This is the value of the contract, and this is the maximum amount we're going to risk on any given trade. Now today, I'm not going to go back and cherry pick some great day. Today, our traders had an alert that came out to them last evening. These alerts go out to our members every evening, and they have for many years. Thursday evening at 6:35 p.m. Eastern, we gave these instructions to all of our traders to be short the S&P 500 at 2850. Okay? The trade triggered, dropped 19 points. Alexa, 19 times 50.
19 times 50 is 950.
Okay. This was a $950 per contract move. No gimmick, no strings attached. If you entered the trade at the price we published, sent to our members, and exited here, your account is now plus $950 minus the commission that you pay for each trade. The broker we use for the S&P 500 E-mini, the commission is $5.80. So $950 minus $5.80, that's what this one trade was worth. Now, important prices and important areas are almost always tested. So we anticipate that our alerts are actually going to trigger multiple times throughout the trading session. So after we drop 19 points, price gets back above the trigger, and we drop down to 28.41. That's roughly 9 points at $50 a point. That's a $450 per contract profit. Price gets back above the trigger, drops again. This time it drops to 28.36. So that's about 14 points. Alexa, 14 times 50.
14 times 50 is 700.
Okay. $700 per contract traded. Price got back above the trigger, dropped again, back above the trigger, dropped again. Then we got the big move of the day, entering at the alert price that we sent to everyone last night. The market dropped 37 points. Alexa, 37 times 50.
37 times 50 is 1,850.
Okay, if you didn't hear, that's $1,850 per contract traded. And I say per contract traded because as you become experienced in the markets, develop a successful track record, you will use the profit you generated in the markets from trading to add additional contracts. We have what's called a 24/20 blueprint. It's designed to help a new trader go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. By far, no get-rich-quick scheme. Okay. However, for the trader who's been with us a while and has earned the right to trade 10 contracts using profits they earned in the market to put on an order of 10 contracts, this is an $18,000 move. Now, what's unique about our system is its simplicity. Most trading methodologies and strategies that you've looked at are complicated, convoluted, and boy, they can be expensive. Ours is none of those things. Now, trading's not easy, but it can be simple. And we've spent the last 15 years developing a method to teach you how to do exactly what we do. 15 years developing a method to teach you how to do exactly what we do. Simple. Not easy, but simple. Most of our new students, if they could pick up, a couple $100 a day, $300 a day, for many of them, that takes them back to where they were when this whole pandemic hit. I mean, that was the salary at their job. That was their income. I did an interview, or not an interview, but a mentoring session. There's a video here on YouTube. It says, is E-mini futures trading right for you? You might watch that. It's one of our students who recently had to close his business because of the pandemic. He needs to start a new business. Trading is a very unique business in that those who were already traders when the pandemic hit did not lose their jobs. In fact, because of the volatility in the markets of late, not only were traders able to keep their jobs, they've had some opportunities, the likes of which many have never seen before. Once you learn how markets work, and that's what we teach you, and once you have a definable edge, that's what we teach you, all you need to work is a computer, a good computer, and a fast, reliable internet connection. You can be in a high-rise on Wall Street. You can be in your spare bedroom. You can be in a coffee shop. Any place that you can take your computer and have a fast, robust internet connection, you can sit down and you can go to work. Learning to trade is like any business. You need someone to teach you how to do it. Could you even imagine getting into an airplane and attempting to fly somewhere if no one had ever taught you how to fly? If the plumbing goes out in my house, I don't even attempt to fix it because, well, no one has ever taught me how to plumb. So I call the plumber. I call somebody that knows what they're doing. In the end, it's going to save me money and time and probably not damage my house. Okay. How do you know if you have what it takes to become a trader? The best way I know of is to take our 5-day free trial. Now, when I say free, there's no gimmick there. We don't want your credit card number, none of that. When you go to this address, eminitrainingschool.com, you're going to fill out the little form there. Don't need your mother's maiden name or your first pet. Valerie will send you an email that has all the information that you need to log in Sunday night when the Globex market opens. Most people, when they think of trading, they think of a business that runs from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. And that is true for the stock market. However, the futures market is a bit different in many ways. The futures market opens around the world at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday evenings, and it trades around the clock till Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Valerie will send you information so that you can be logged in Sunday night. You'll be able to watch these trade alerts that we provide to our students. You'll see them coming through live in real time. But you're not going to risk any real money. No, you're just trying to see if you think you have what it takes to become a trader. We're going to provide you with a trading platform at no charge. We're going to allow you to use our indicators at no charge. Every morning, Monday through Friday of next week, from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, you're going to log into a class using GoToWebinar. There'll be a live instructor with live real-time charts trading. Not only will he be trading, he'll be explaining to you everything he's doing as he does it. He'll be calling out the trades, he'll be pointing them out, he'll be explaining them, and he'll be answering your questions. You'll have lots of questions. Please don't hesitate to ask. You just type your question into the chat box, and you'll hear him read your question to the entire audience, and then he'll give you the answer that you're looking for. Okay? We're very, very transparent in everything that we do. Everything that we've done over the past years, it's all archived, it's recorded. You have access to it while you're on the trial. You can see what we did yesterday, last week, last month, last year. In fact, right here on YouTube, there are years of our daily live broadcast, which is different from the training class. The training class is 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. You get to come to that free every day this coming week for 2 hours, where you're actually learning our strategy, asking questions. We then take a 30-minute break and we come back and do a 2-hour broadcast. During that 2-hour broadcast, we're not putting on and taking off trades. We're talking about the markets, about our methodology, about our strategy, and again, answering any questions that you have. Now, if you want to go back in YouTube a week, a month, a year, 2 years, just grab any one of those daily videos and fast forward to the point where you see me doing a recap of the alerts that were sent over the past 24 hours to our traders. During the week, at some point, when you're ready, about Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe you're starting to kind of get it, and you think maybe this could be for you. You'll get in touch with Valerie at this phone number, or you'll just let us know in the live training room each day, hey, I'd like a one-on-one mentoring session, not a sales pitch. Not at all. In fact, we don't even want to talk to you really about becoming a member until you've experienced the entire week. We want you to see everything that we have to offer, everything that we have to do. At the end of the week, when you're ready, we can talk business. Okay? But I do want you to make sure and book a one-on-one mentoring session, because this way it'll be just you and I, or my business partner, Michael, looking at charts, not in a go-to webinar, but in a go-to meeting where it's just the two of us. And instead of typing in your questions, since you're the only person there, I can just open up your mic and we can carry on a conversation just like we were having a telephone call. Okay? I'm going to stop there. Not everybody is cut out to be a trader, but those who do find success as traders have the opportunity to make some incredible money. If you approach this in a haphazard manner, without a real life teacher, without instructions, without guidance, without aggressive risk management, you'll lose every dime you have. Well, you'll lose every dime you put in your trading account. 9 out of 10 traders fail for one reason. They just never had anybody teach them how to do it. They saw it on the internet. It looked really simple. So, hey, let me give this a shot. Next thing you know, you've blown up in a $5,000 account. With us, you're going to start out in the simulator, and that's where we want you to stay until you've put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reached your daily goal in 10 trades or less. We want you to do that 10 days in a row. That's when the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with one contract. We want you to trade only one contract until you've increased your account balance by $2,000. At that point, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. The blueprint will let you know when it's time to add number 3, number 4, etc. Now, if you hit a rough patch somewhere along the way, and you will, everyone does, you'll hit pause. You'll book a couple of mentoring sessions with myself, with Michael. We'll get together in a go-to meeting environment. We'll troubleshoot those trades that you took. We'll determine whatever it was that you missed or didn't quite understand about the strategy, whatever the case is. And then once you've got your confidence back, then you just pick right back up where you left off. Again, this is no get-rich-quick scheme. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet where they promise you the moon. People act like they can predict the future. You know what? Well, if you've ever tried it, you probably already know. It's just a lot of hooey, which is why we cut to the chase. We don't want any money from you up front. We don't want your credit card. We want you to come. We want you to listen. We want you to ask lots of questions, and we want you to learn, all on our dime. At the end of next week, if you think it's right for you, well, then we can sit down and we can have a conversation about that. Okay? So again, and while I've got the charts out, you might be wondering, well, that S&P trade triggered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That's probably a fluke, right? No. You may have heard of the NQ or the NASDAQ. Last night, all of our traders were given the alert to be short 87.99. That's the first trigger, 12 points. The NQ pays $20 a point. That's $240 per contract. We got back above the trigger, triggered again, $1,500 per contract move. Price got back above the trigger, triggered again, made it to the published target, and that was worth $2,360 per contract traded. The Russell Emini The signal was to be short 1282. The first leg of the journey was 13 points at $50 a point. The entire move was 42 points at $50 a point. That's over $2,000 per contract traded. And the last of the indices, that's all I'm going to talk about tonight. We also trade crude and gold, but I just want to stick with the indices, the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. So I've got just one more chart. Here's the Dow. The signal last night was to be short, 23,850. The first move was 155 points, right down to the published target. Price got back above the trigger, as it does. We triggered a second time, and that move was over. At the time I measured it today, right about here, it had dropped 262 points. Now, where the S&P pays 50 a point and the Russell pays 50 a point, the NQ pays 20 a point, the Dow pays $5 a point. 262 times 5, that's $1,300 per contract traded. Okay? So, here's an opportunity for you if you're concerned about your financial future. Time is something that we all seem to have a lot of on our hands here of late, with America in lockdown or shutdown or sheltering, whatever label you give it. Put this next week to good use. Come and find out. Kick the tires. Ask the hard questions, okay? And by this time next week, you won't be a trader, but you just might have an idea whether or not it could be your next career. Maybe it could be your last career. Remember, the only thing that you need, along with a teacher and a definable edge, is a fairly modern computer and a fast, reliable internet connection. That's it. Okay? So come, hang out with us next week. You'll find it interesting, enjoyable. We try to keep it light. It's also a family environment. If you've ever been in some of these trading chat rooms and message boards, sometimes it can get pretty ugly. Foul language, that kind of thing. That's never tolerated in our room because of the type of people that we attract. We're just very blessed. We're happy to share that blessing with you. If you're concerned about where your next paycheck is coming from, what your economic future holds, please, starting Sunday night, come spend some time with us and let us see if perhaps we can help you. The journey begins by going to eminitrainingschool.com. You can also call and speak with Valerie at 949-423-6464. And yes, you can call over the weekend. We will be taking phone calls all weekend. I might even have time to do a one-on-one mentoring session with you before the week starts. But we go live Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. I do hope to see you there. God bless and stay well.